In 2004, researchers in England tried to make medieval gunpowder. They knew the recipe. They knew the chemistry. They could make black powder using modern ingredients. But they wanted to reproduce the process as medieval people would have done it. So they tried to make one ingredient from scratch. It took 15 months. They built a large heap of organic material, kept it damp, protected it from heavy rain, turned it periodically, and waited for invisible chemistry to take place. Eventually, they washed the heap, boiled down liters of liquid, and left the concentrate to crystallize. Brown crystals appeared. They had made saltpetre. The recipe for gunpowder was simple. The supply chain was not. And for centuries, the speed of military technology depended partly on bacteria, livestock, and time. But first, there is an important distinction. Black powder is explosive, but it is not a high explosive. When black powder burns, the reaction travels through the material as rapid combustion. This is called deflagration. High explosives work differently. A supersonic shockwave drives the reaction through the material. That is called detonation. Black powder burns rapidly. High explosives shatter. That difference explains why black powder was so useful in cannons. Inside a barrel, the powder produces hot gases faster than they can escape. Pressure rises and the expanding gases push a projectile forward. Black powder pushes. It does not produce the same shattering effect as modern explosives. That was not a weakness for artillery. A cannon needs pressure that lasts long enough to accelerate a projectile down the barrel. An explosive that detonated violently could destroy the weapon instead. So medieval people could make powerful weapons. They could propel cannonballs, burst containers, and damage fortifications. But they could not make practical detonating explosives. That technology would require a different kind of chemistry and would not appear until the 19th century. The story of gunpowder began much earlier. It emerged in China during the 9th century, probably through experiments associated with alchemy. The goal was not initially to build a weapon. Alchemists were searching for medicines, elixirs, and substances that might extend life. Instead, they discovered mixtures that produced fire, smoke, and violent pressure. Some early texts describe combinations that caused dangerous fires and destroyed buildings. They were looking for ways to prevent death. They found a way to make death arrive faster. At first, gunpowder was used in fireworks, signals, and incendiary devices. Its military uses developed gradually through fire lances, rockets, bombs, and eventually projectile weapons. The recipe spread across Eurasia, but information traveled faster than raw materials. Black powder requires 3 basic ingredients: charcoal sulfur, saltpetre. Charcoal could be made by heating wood with little oxygen. Sulfur could be mined or traded. Saltpetre was different. Saltpetre is potassium nitrate. It acts as the oxidizer, supplying oxygen inside the mixture and allowing the powder to burn rapidly even in a confined space. Without it, charcoal and sulfur are just combustible materials. With it, they become gunpowder. This made saltpetre the bottleneck. The medieval world had natural nitrate deposits, and some regions could obtain saltpetre from the ground or through trade. But reliable large-scale production was difficult. Saltpetre often had to be made. That meant building what was, in effect, a primitive biological reactor. Workers created nitrate beds from materials such as dung, urine-soaked earth, straw, plant matter, and other organic waste. The heap had to be kept damp, but not washed away by heavy rain. It needed air, so it was turned periodically. Alkaline materials such as lime could be added to help maintain suitable conditions. Then everyone waited. For months, sometimes longer. Inside the heap, microorganisms carried out a process nobody understood. As organic material decomposed, it released ammonia. Microorganisms converted the ammonia into nitrite and then into nitrate. The workers could not see the organisms. They did not know about bacteria, nitrification, or microbial metabolism. But they knew the practical rules. Use the right materials. Keep the heap damp. Expose it to air. Add the right alkaline substances. Wait long enough. In modern terms, medieval saltpetre production was managed microbial chemistry. In historical terms, it was a craft built from observation and repetition. They were not simply mining a mineral, they were cultivating a biological process. That process produced a useful material, but not yet pure gunpowder-grade saltpetre. The raw nitrate mixture contained other compounds, including salts that absorbed moisture from the air. Moisture was dangerous because gunpowder had to remain dry and burn consistently, so the material had to be processed. It was washed into solution, filtered and treated with alkaline substances such as wood ash. The liquid was then concentrated and left to crystallize. The unwanted compounds stayed in solution or were removed during processing. The saltpetre formed crystals. A recipe could be written in a few lines. The production system took months or years. That difference shaped warfare. A cannon could fire in seconds. Its most important ingredient might have taken more than a year to prepare. Military power therefore depended on agriculture, waste, and land. A state planning a campaign could not simply decide to make gunpowder at the last minute. Saltpetre production had to begin long before the army marched. As firearms became more important, governments tried to control the supply. Officials searched for nitrate-rich earth in stables, cellars, dovecotes, and other places where animal waste had accumulated. In some regions, authorities could enter private property, remove contaminated soil, and claim it for military production. Imagine officials arriving at your home, lifting the floorboards and taking away the earth beneath them for the army. The connection between war and ordinary life was literal. Firepower came partly from waste produced by animals and households. The state was not merely collecting manure. It was trying to convert a slow biological process into military supply. But even after the ingredients had been obtained, there was another problem. The powder had to burn consistently. If charcoal, sulfur, and saltpetre were simply ground together, the particles could separate during transport because they had different sizes and densities. Fine powder could also pack tightly, restricting the movement of flame and hot gases. The solution was granulation, or corning. The mixed powder was dampened into a paste, pressed into a mass, dried, and broken into grains. Each grain contained the ingredients together. The spaces between the grains allowed flame and gas to move through the charge more effectively. The chemistry stayed the same. The geometry changed. That made the powder more reliable, more powerful, and easier to transport, but it also created new dangers. More energetic powder could damage older guns if the weapon was not strong enough or the charge was too large. This is why technological progress is rarely just about discovering a formula. Performance also depends on moisture grain, size, packing, storage, transport, manufacturing consistency. The recipe was only the beginning. So could medieval people make explosions? Yes. If by explosion we mean rapid combustion under confinement, they could propel projectiles, burst containers, and damage fortifications. Could they detonate high explosives? No. That required a different reaction mechanism, and practical detonating explosives would not appear until the 19th century. But the deeper limitation was not ignorance. The recipe was simple. Charcoal was accessible. Sulfur could be traded. Medieval metalworkers could build the guns. The real bottleneck was saltpetre. It had to be cultivated in damp organic beds, produced by microorganisms nobody knew existed, extracted from the soil, and purified over long periods. For centuries, the pace of gunpowder warfare was partly determined by the speed of bacterial chemistry in a pile of waste. The people managing those heaps did not know that was what they were doing. They only knew that if they used the right materials, kept them in the right conditions, and waited long enough, crystals appeared. The battlefield moved at the speed of burning powder. The powder moved at the speed of bacteria.